What else you got?
For triceps or?
We need one more for triceps.
Always
Overhead. You got your lateral head right here, your long head, and your medial head. So when you work the triceps, you want to work all three heads. And she's doing an exercise right now for the long head. You want to do exercise for the medial head, one for the lateral head. We just hit the lateral head with the push downs. Now we're doing the long head. And guess what? We're going to hit the medial head. So let's get it. And squeeze at the top. Just get a good stretch at the bottom. That's perfect form right there. I love to get the stretch on these. Stand all the way up. Don't forget to breathe. Squeeze it. Get your stretch here. You don't want to go too far because, like I said, you start getting in that dangerous territory with the joints. We're here to prevent injury, not incur it. Good stretch at the bottom. Extend. Of course, you want to do both arms because you don't want one big old arm and one small one. Stretch here. Extend. It's always slow and controlled. You want to keep your reps in the 8 to 12 range, like to vary mine depending on how I feel that day. But I always have slow, controlled movements, no matter what. There's no substitute for proper form. You want to hit it all the time. That's the reason you're in here. We're going to do a narrow grip. Which is going to hit the long head. Just like tricep, you got bicep. You got three exercises, two heads for the bicep, bi. You got your long head, you got your short head. So we're going to do an exercise for the long head, which I'm going to do right now is a narrow grip barbell curl. I'm going to go a little more narrow than shoulder. I got some pretty wide shoulders, so it's very narrow for me. But once again, very slow and controlled, squeezing at the top. That's what really brings out, that hardness in the arms. Squeeze at the top, down real slow. I really like to feel these. You don't want to do any of this rocking stuff because this is where your back gets involved. You want all biceps here. Squeeze at the top. Down smooth. Very slow. Up, squeeze. Slow. Whew. Believe me, it's worth it. Don't cheat yourself out of the work. Squeeze those muscles you're training. Watch them. Right here, we're hitting that short head of the bicep. Once again, down real slow. Just short of locking out your elbows. You don't want to lock out your elbows because that's going to hyperextend them. And you'll run into problems like I was talking about, joint injuries, tendonitis, and just all around inflammation. You're isolating the muscle here. Squeezing at the top as hard as you can, down very slow. And you will feel this so much more than just a herky-jerky movement. You'll get so much more out of it. Much better development, much symmetrical development, both sides getting trained properly. I've always been saying, in between, squeeze those muscles. Finish off the biceps. I like to alternate on workouts when I'm training arms like that. Maybe emphasize one of the heads more than the other. This is one of my favorites over here. It's all about stretching out and getting that contraction at the top. Pose, and you're gonna bring it together and squeeze at the top. You're gonna watch your biceps bulge out of the skin. It's all in that contraction. That's how you build the peaks. Get your peaks right here. Release slow. Remember to breathe. Don't forget to breathe. If you don't breathe, you die. You see that? That's the garden hose right there. Notice how it goes up into the cannonball delt. You got your front deltoid, your medial, and your lateral. So you want to do exercises that hit all those heads. So I'm going to do a couple reps here. I'll show you what I do for my medial head. You don't need a lot of weight on these, and you only want to go kind of parallel to the floor. Anything higher than that. Once again, very slow, squeeze at the top, down very slow, up. Like I said, that hits your lateral head, middle head of the shoulder right here, which makes you look wide. So you want to double up on those. Of course, you're going to do your standard military presses, overall shoulder movement for size and definition. Pressing straight up. This is a power exercise to build size, muscle mass. Very slow and controlled. No bouncing here. Down to about your level. Extend and squeeze at the top. Same thing. Squeezing those shoulders in between sets. Getting the blood in there.